Hello guys, what is up? This is Eddie Neddy and welcome to another video on the channel for you guys today. And I'm going to give you 5 championship teams that you must attempt a career mode with. So I know a lot of people that I speak to are bored of, RTGs and bored of career mode at the moment. I'm going to give you guys a few suggestions on how to probably keep career mode realistic and entertaining with these clubs. So, we're going to kick it off with Blackburn Rovers, a club which are doing nothing short of phenomenal in real life. Obviously, they're currently sitting at 3rd in the EFL Championship table. They keep going the momentum. They might win the league. They've been honestly so good to watch under Tony Mowbray. Played fast, attacking football with the likes of Brereton Diaz, Buckley, and brought in some new players that have been playing well for side like Pickering and I love it. Very promising things about these guys. And they've also got some other good depth players in at the club as well. And also this centre-back who you guys are probably looking to most start for most games at a very young age. But anyway, I'd massively suggest Blackburn Rovers. I honestly think it can be a good and fun career mode. Blackburn Rovers are a side which, like I said, are 3rd in the championship. Mostly, they don't really spend a lot of money. They do like to bring in loans and bring through their own youth players. You look at Dolan, came from the Blackburn Youth Academy in their first team. Buckley came from the Blackburn Academy in the first team. And I think did Wharton came from the Blackburn youth system in their first team, and Butterworth, like I said, and they've got quite a few players, and they like to bring in a lot of loan players. You look at this side has had a few current / ex loan players in their team. I mean, the first one example is Van Heck, who has been playing a lot recently for the injured David Ayala. He's been loaned in from Brighton over Albion. He's been very good for them as well. You also got this Kadara guy, another loanee from Brighton. Really good youngster, this guy, and I feel like he could be a really good signing. Like if you do want to sign him permanently, that's what I mean. Actually, I don't know in career mode if he's on loan at Blackburn, because I know he's on loan in real life from Brighton, I believe. But I think he could be a good signing. I think it would be fairly realistic as well. Poveda as well, player which didn't get played that much for Blackburn, but still a very good player to use. And Clarkson, I believe you probably will have to terminate this guy's loan, because I believe this guy's gone back to Liverpool in real life. So yeah, they usually like to bring in loans and bring for their youth players. Most importantly, not many of their players in their squad as came from like the same league or a league above. I think Sam Gallagher's released by Southampton, in the side. With Kaminsky, was probably, I think they're literally only foreign, brought player from a foreign club in the squad. To be honest with you, I don't think there's anyone else in the squad which has been signed from a foreign club, and that is foreign. So obviously Brereton Diaz came from Nottingham Forest. This guy, if you probably don't get promoted, probably most realistic, probably looking to sell, to be honest with you. But I believe it's a good young squad. You got Travis, here, who's only like 24. You got Buckley, who's 22. Dolan, 19. Brereton Diaz, 22. Pickering, 22. Nyambi, only 24. You got Butterworth, only like 22. It's a good side, to be honest. It's a good side. So, Blackburn Rovers, I think, would be my first suggestion. Hull City is going to be the second team I'm going to suggest to you guys. These guys apparently are set to have a massive money takeover in real life, so which have massively struggled recently financially. We can't afford to bring in loans and very cheap squad players. That's how Hull are operating at the moment. Looking at mostly loan players, to ask you, for example, like Bernard, loan. Baxter, loan. I think Longman might be a loan as well. I don't know if Doxey got brought permanently, but that could be a loan as well. But yeah, most of their first team squad and most of their important players this season are on loan. I know Baxter has been phenomenal for Hull in real life. Same with Bernard. I've watched Hull quite a few times. When their key players to watch out for is this Lewis Potter guy. This Lewis Potter's already been linked with Premier League clubs, so maybe if you get an offer, because Hull at the moment, Hull are probably most likely to sell these youth players and, probably get some extra money and then use that to the rest of the team. Because Lewis Potter has been nothing short of phenomenal for Hull. Probably one of the best young talents in the Championship. Obviously, like I said, if you are going to go with Hull, you're probably looking at to sign, 69, 67, 70 rated players from League One, at fringe championship players, players aren't the first team. That's what you're probably looking most likely to sign. So I don't think there's anybody in this squad that, is like from a foreign league, that signed this club from foreign league. All these guys are joined them from the UK, I believe. I honestly think all of them. So I feel like this could be a really good career mode to do for you guys, and also a difficult one as well. But then again, they do have their own good players. Like, look at Greaves as well, another fan favourite. Who'll do it for youngsters? Guys, look at Greaves, look at Lewis Potter. Two massive fan favourites, and two youngsters which came from the youth academy. So now we're going to move on to the third team. Third team, Nottingham Forest. Probably one of the biggest clubs in the Championship, in terms of club size. Former Champions League winners, spent a lot of time in the Premier League with Brian Clough. And how are they not in the... how on earth are they not in the Premier League? I do not know, because they've came so close in recent seasons, but have just fell short. Anyway, they do have a really good team. Like, these are probably the most ones to go lenient with, because these clubs, honestly, Forest usually sign, players which have played from the Premier League, top Championship talents, a lot of Portuguese players in recent years. So you look at Cafu, Portuguese, where's Carvalho? Look at Carvalho, Portuguese. They do sign a lot of foreigners, Nottingham Forest, and it is quite difficult to sometimes, and obviously Silva, it is sometimes quite difficult, to suggest players for Nottingham Forest, They've also got a few of their own grown players, you look at Joe Worrell, you look at Ryan Yates, Brennan Johnson, Alex Mitten, massive fan favourites, at Nottingham Forest. Honestly, these are probably one of the favourites to do as a career mode, to be honest with you. You got Brennan Johnson here, heavily linked to a move to clubs like Brentford, and same with Joe Worrell. I feel like if you get transfer offers to them, you could get a hell of a lot of money. And even if you lose Johnson, you've still got players like Lolly and Silva. If you lose Worrell, you got Sal and Lee. And they've made a lot of loan signings recently. Obviously, two of their probably best players in real life are loan signings in Spence and Lowe and Zink. All three of them, very good loan players. Look at Garner as well. So you can tell recently they've been going for the loan/free agent links. They've had them. Oh, actually, they've got a massive link to Olympiacos. So maybe if there's any players you'd like from Olympiacos, maybe try and potentially bring them in. I feel like that could be a really good idea, because Dragons from Olympiacos, and they've had players from Olympiacos as well in the past. I believe Cafu wasn't he from Olympiacos, if I'm not wrong. So he could be quite a good transfer. It would be, Olympiacos player would be a good transfer. Now we're going to move on to the fourth club. This one is Derby County. We all know the situation that Derby County are in. And it's not going to be a fun career mode, but it is in a way. It's not going to be the fun where you're going to have the best players to use. It's going to be the fun fact that you're going to have like a massive challenge. Like, this is probably, if you want to get a realistic career mode, you won't find a more challenging one than this. Derby County, you can't spend a penny. That's what I basically got to say. You can only, I think the best way to be, you can only sign what you sell, and maybe you can even half that. So let's say you sell Max Bird, Jason Knight for, let's say, 5 million. You can only, invest like 2 million of that into the rest of the squad, 3 million. Kind of keep it realistic. So we know Derby are in debt in real life as well, so that's obviously a difficult one. And obviously, like I said, but the thing is, they've got a lot of aging players as well. So like I said, you're going to have to use some of their youth players like Stretton and Buchanan and Eberselli. But they don't actually have that bad of an overall team. It's like when you go past, like this, you get concerned because you start looking at, 61 rated backup 61 rated backup midfielder, 68 rated centre back, 62 rated right back. But the thing is, they're all very good players. Like Eberselli and Liam Thompson are probably two of Derby County's best players that I've seen in real life. I feel like definitely using them would be the best. So I feel like you've got to look at free agent signings, loan signings on like from Premier League clubs and cheap wages. But I would suggest maybe for the first 2-3 seasons, you can't break your profit margin, okay? Or maybe you could set yourself like a profit that you've got to stay in. Let's say like 10 million or 15 million, you've got to stay. You can't get below that, and if you do, maybe you should be forced to sell one of your players and to make that money back. So I think that could be a good one to answer. And like I said, and obviously the only sad things about it though, you won't be able to start them with the points deduction. You won't be able to start them, with the points deduction. So it's a bit of a difficult one, that, to ask you. Yeah, you can maybe sim up to the point they are in real life, maybe, or maybe the point when they got to 0, points, and then start the career mode from there, maybe. So, and yeah, I would suggest Derby County quite heavily. And now we move on to the final career mode. Career mode suggestion: Queen's Park Rangers. QPR are a club which seem to be massively on the up in real life. Last season, well, pretty much halfway in between last season, they looked like, hold up, they're going to be in a relegation dogfight. That's what we all thought about QPR last season. But they turned it around massively, and they've made some great signings in recent years and brought in some great players. Just look at their team, and it's perfect. Honestly, their squad is so balanced. You got some really good young players like Jimmy Dunn and Rob Dickey and Dodzell and Cher, and Willock. Then you got the old experienced players like Wallace and Adoma and, Charlie Austin and Andre Gray. They've got such a good balanced team. You probably don't even need to make a transfer to this, in the first season. Maybe an extra centre-back. But Queen's Park Rangers are a club which usually sign, not usually. They usually sign, either probably fringe players again, Scottish Premiership players, and, League One players. Obviously, like I said, we'll just go through them. Lee Wallace, Scottish Premiership. Lyndon Dykes, Scottish Premiership. Obviously, you got Dozzle, League One. Dickey, League One. Who else? There's someone else here from League One. There definitely is probably somebody. Technically, Device, from League One, and when he was at Hull, and I think Walsh was League One as well. So they got quite a few good players. I think even Charlie Kelman at the time he signed, I believe he was playing for Gillingham, which are in League One. And obviously they've signed some Premier League fringe players like Jimmy Dunn, Burnley, fringe player. Andre Gray, Watford, not getting much game time. Luke Amos, Tottenham, not good enough for Tottenham. McCallum, Norwich, on loan. Really good player to ask you. Suggestion, a player which I would suggest signing permanently, but maybe, if you have to get to the Premier League to be able to do that, to kind of keep it realistic. Sam Field, West Brom in the Premier League. Like I said, QPR club which are not known for spending a lot of money. They've been heavily linked, I think, with Ryan Fredericks in real life. Can't see that happening, though, personally. I'd be massively surprised that would happen. It would. It'd be amazing. Massive fan favourite to QPR players like Albert Adoma. A massive fan favourite for Queen's Park Rangers. Rob Dickey is another fan favourite. Chris Willock, Elias Chair. I think them are their key players, to be honest with you. Stanley Young's already been linked to a Premier League club. Same with Elias Chair. I think QPR could be a fun career, and I think this squad definitely has the potential to get back in the Premier League. They've got their own stadium. In terms of signing players, they don't spend hugely a lot. It's very rare that QPR will go and spend 2 million, 3 million on a player. I think they usually buy players for $1 million, probably less than that. But like I said, they're quite a balanced club at the moment. So there we go. Them were my 5 suggestions of career modes to do. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys have, please make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe. But yeah, thank you all for watching. And hope you all have an amazing day. Take care. Speak to you soon. Much love.